It actually has a physical position here with the idea of intercourse. You shall not lie with a male as with a woman. It is an abomination. So, these individuals that are involved in this type of perversion, God is saying that it is detestable. Now, the concept behind abomination, it is an abomination, has to mean utterly unworthy. It has the idea of causing disgust or hatred. An abomination in God's eyes, where it says in Leviticus 18, verse 22, this is an abomination, has the idea that it's detestable to God. Has the idea of causing disgust. It has the idea of utterly unworthy. The word vile, in verse 26, for this reason God gave up to vile passions, and the example is lesbianism, means to be utterly bad, utterly disgusting. God has a dim viewpoint. Verse 27, likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burned in their lust for one another, men with men committing what is shameful, and receiving in themselves the penalty of their error, which was due. The penalty is the judgment, and the judgment here is the lifestyle. They're already judged, and the judgment is the lifestyle they live. And that lifestyle will end them up unless they repent. And there is salvation for those who repent, but this lifestyle will end them up in hell. Homosexuality is sin. The Bible is clear about that in Leviticus 18:22. The homosexuality is the punishment. They've rejected God and become idolaters. They've given themselves over to the shameful passions. In verse 27, the New English Bible reads it this way: the fitting wage of such perversion, verse 27, is their lifestyle. Much more on that is pretty much clear. Now we get into a section that, let me pause for a moment. By the way, and I've experienced this, lesbianism and homosexuality, they are militant in promoting their viewpoint. And they act as though they're the only ones that have rights. And the fur has flown. And I've been in these conversations, man, I can picture the fur flying everywhere, and I said, you're not the only one that has rights. Silence. You've got rights. I mean, it's just utterly amazing. As though they're the only one that has rights. They are militant, and they will press. Their objective is to promote their debased mind. And if you stand in the way, then you are being narrow-minded. You're being intolerant. We're to be tolerant of everything is the new philosophy, and I don't buy it. By the way, they are very intolerant about the Christian viewpoint. These individuals keep saying we are to be tolerant, and all views are to be accepted as equally as important. Boy, they're not tolerant about the Christian view that this is wrong. Verse 28. And even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge. I want you to note now, Paul continues to bring up the concept that they know, conscience tells them, they know, nature tells them there's a God, but they suppress, in verse 18, verse 28, they do not like to retain God in their knowledge. They don't like this concept of an accountability, and they keep pushing it away and keep pushing it away until the voice is never heard. God gave them over to a debased mind to do those things which are not fitting or appropriate. Verse 29, and he gives the example now, being filled with all unrighteousness. All unrighteousness. And here they are now, and he delineates them. Sexual immorality. Fornication is sex with somebody that's not your lawfully wedded spouse. Adultery is sex with somebody who is not your spouse. There's a good portion of the population right there. Wickedness. This means to be morally bad. You're just a morally bad person. Individuals who measure themselves by themselves. Morally bad. Covetousness. This has the idea of inordinate desire for what belongs to another. You see something that somebody else has, and you want it. Covetousness is an inordinate desire for what belongs to another. Now, this could be a person. I remember reading, or I was exposed, it might have been on TV, about a guy who just fell in love with another man's wife. So what does he do? I'm going to kill the husband. Not really going to solve those problems. Covetousness, an inordinate desire for what belongs to another. Also, it means an inordinate desire for wealth. I just saw that with individuals that cheat other people. Maliciousness. This is insightful. This word means a desire to see another suffer pain. I think we might all have some of those in our lives. A desire to see another suffer pain or injury or loss. I sure wish they would get theirs. Full of envy. Now, envy is a painful resentment of an advantage enjoyed by another. Someone has an advantage that you do not have, and you resent that. Envy. Painful resentment of an advantage enjoyed by another. Coupled with a desire to have the same advantage. Oh, look at that truck. Oh, how I wish I had that truck. And of all things, he doesn't deserve it. Painful resentment of an advantage enjoyed by another. Isn't this amazingly accurate? Scary. Murder. If there's the most priceless thing that you and I have is our life, to take that from somebody else. Murder. Strife. This is insightful. Strife means an exertion for dominance or superiority, and usually it's verbally. It's contention verbally for superiority. That's what strife means. It's a good one to write down. Exertion or contention for superiority. Deceit. This is the New King James Version. Yours may read a little differently. The word deceive means to cause to accept as true or valid what is false or invalid. To deceive somebody. Some people come across as Christians. We were talking about that in Sunday school. They're not. To cause to accept as true or valid what is valid or invalid. I'm really not interested, but I'm smarter than you, and I'm going to deceive you. Now remember, this is a debased mind. God gives them up to a debased mind. Verse 28. Evil-mindedness. They think evil of you rather than good. They do not give you the benefit of the doubt. Everything is evil. That's how they think. There's no goodness, there's righteousness, no things. They are whisperers. That means to speak softly so others can't hear. And usually it's derogatory about what they're talking about, someone or something. Backbiters. You know, some of these involve us. Backbiters, to say mean or spiteful things when that person isn't present. Their back is to us. Backbiters. Proud. And assume superiority. Displaying excessive self-esteem. I'm better than you simply because of the color of my skin. And that goes both ways, not just white or blacks. Whisperers, backbiters, haters of God, pretty clear, isn't it? Don't hold me accountable. Violent. I jumped to pride, but before that was haters of God. That's pretty self-explanatory. Do not bring God into the concept there is no God. Violent. And we are getting progressively more violent in our society. More and more acceptable. I mean, geez, who can argue against that? Kids have to go through a metal detector in school. You have to have police on hand at school. We're taking God out of the classroom, we're taking prayer out of the classroom, we're taking the Bible out of the classroom. And now what do we have? Metal detectors to be sure that Johnny doesn't have a knife and he's going to stick little Sally in the back. Violent, proud, assume superiority, boasters. This means to speak exaggeratedly about oneself or about something. You extrapolate much more than what it is. Boasters. Inventors of evil things. Disobedient to parents. Undiscerning. When you discern, A person that is discerning has the power to see what is not evident to the average mind. Somebody has clear discernment. It's there, but it's just not obvious. A person that is undiscerning doesn't see it. Their senses are dull. They don't see the subtleties of right and wrong in a conversation, for instance. Untrustworthy. Can't trust this person. They'll take your money, or your car, or your wife. Unloving. Show us weakness. Unforgiving. I once remember a supervisor saying, "I don't get mad, I just get even." Unforgiving. Unmerciful. We learned in James that if you're unmerciful, you will not be shown mercy. Who, knowing the righteous judgment of God, that those who practice such things are deserving of death. Now I want you to know, this is their lifestyle. And God holds out forgiveness to the end. But they practice this lifestyle, never repent, they are deserving of death. Not only do the same, but also approve of those who practice them. The concept, I can do anything that a man can do, I can do it only better. And we're militant, we're going to push that concept. Now, I've experienced that. Everything that I've said can be summarized in this one sentence. Being filled, and that word filled means saturated. It means permeated. Being filled with all unrighteousness. Everything that I've said before God. Being filled with all unrighteousness. Allow me to conclude with this. There's a man by the name of Henry Nelson of Wilmington, Delaware. He was a veteran of the Second World War. He had served as an instructor in the Army Chemical Warfare Department. Yet he ignored a warning by the superintendent of the Riverside Housing Development that the apartment he lived in was being fumigated with hydrogen cyanide gas. He ignored the warning, tore down the barricade at the door of his own house, and went in to get 2 blankets. The neighbors saw him remove the sign and barricade and go in his own house. So they called the development office. But when the employees arrived, it was too late. Nelson lay sprawled on the living room floor with the 2 blankets in his arms. Despite both written and verbal warnings, and despite the training in the Army, he had gone to his own death. Now, that's amazing, isn't it? Does that happen? That's exactly what we've been reading about. These people know. And what does it conclude? Who, knowing the righteous judgment of God, those who practice such things are deserving of death. And not only that, but they promote it. Now the good news is this. Any individuals that are involved in this type of behavior can be forgiven in Jesus Christ and can be transformed. That's the good news. But Paul here this is one long gospel track, and he gets into the ugliness of the utter lostness of mankind. Chapter 3, which we're going to start next Sunday, talks about the righteous, those who go to church, the Jews, that keep all the law. And you'll be interested to hear what he has to say about them. This kind of focuses on the pagan. They make no claim to religion, and they're suppressing God, and they live in, in society in a way that is pagan. They'll tell you, I'm pagan. I'm a heathen pagan. Chapter 3, however, it talks about the religious. And it's magnificent. The book of Romans you are going to love. Let's pray.